I'm going to be sharing with you in this video 5 signs you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self. Because there's going to be times in your life where actually you forget your connection to your source. You start giving energy and all your emotions to things that you don't even care about. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 signs that you're actually remembering who you are and remembering how to actually manage your energy and be the person that you actually prefer to be. So let's talk about those 5 signs in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I do actually post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. Now, the first sign that you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self is number 1, you're hyper aware of what you actually give your energy to. Once you start to go through the quote-unquote awakening process, and I say awakening process because I believe that actually our natural state is to actually be who we actually are and to be awake. But of course, there is actually this awakening happening on the planet, which I actually believe as well. And if you're going through an awakening, so to speak, what's happening is that you're actually starting to become aware of what you resonate with very clearly and what you don't resonate with. You might even be like noticing as you're saying something like, God, that's not like, that's just like instantly causing like a disresonance. If you're noticing like how conscious you are, how everything you're giving energy to is a choice and that you can really feel when things are not resonating, that's absolutely a huge sign that you are aligning back with your higher self. You're hyper aware of what you're giving your energy to, and you're making sure to only give energy to the things that you actually care about. That's really powerful. If you're realizing that, that's absolutely a huge sign that you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self. Now, the second sign that you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self is number 2, you're taking more time for yourself. See, the last couple months, I realized like, oh my gosh, I've been giving way too much energy to the people around me, to even like everything, my business and like my clients and even my family. It's like, whoa, I need to take some more time for myself. We can convince ourselves so strongly that we got to keep giving energy to these things, but sometimes we forget that emotions are just emotions. And they don't have to pull you for the ride, right? You control where you go, not an emotional pattern, not a pattern. Do you want to be controlled by your patterns? Or do you want to be in control of who you are and where you place your energy? Of course, the answer is obvious. We want to be in control, not an emotion. Anger is nothing more than letting yourself express in a particular way. Now, anger is not a bad emotion, but we can start to take responsibility for when we're giving energy. Now, if you're taking time to yourself, if you're taking that time to reconnect back with yourself so that you don't express when you don't feel like expressing, so that you only give emotionally to people, to situations, things when you actually want to, not because you have to, but because you want to. There's a huge difference. You don't have to give your energy to anybody or anything. It's a weird, interesting vocabulary. It doesn't have to, but like a good thing to say is like, it has to come from that space of want. And that's like a, funny, interesting play of words there, but it's like, the best way that I've found to live my life is to give when I want to give. If there's any like I have to, or I don't really want to do this, but I'm kind of here anyway, screw that. We need to let go of that energy completely. Everything you're doing should be done with intention and because you want to actually do it. That's just my opinion. And if you don't do that, well, then you're just going to be miserable through whatever you're creating, and you'll convince yourself that you're not miserable when the truth is, of course, you are. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you in this video, I've already shared a second thing. What I want to remind you at this point is to just remember that it's okay to take time to yourself. Don't feel guilty. You're going to feel guilty. God, maybe I shouldn't take time to myself. Maybe I should keep letting these emotions sway me. No, it's okay to take time for yourself. It's okay to be selfish sometimes. Because you can't be selfless and give if you're not selfish sometimes and take all the energy for yourself so that then you can give back more later, right? Sometimes that's okay. It depends on where you're at. Like, there's no right or wrongs. Like, nobody's judging you other than yourself. If you don't have the capacity to give, then take some time for yourself to rest. There's nothing wrong with that. We can get so lost in giving. It's like, what about actually resting? And something, because for me, I like to give so much. Something that I'll do is like, oh, but actually, you're gonna laugh at this. Sometimes what I'll do is like, oh yeah, but I want to be so powerful that I want to be able to receive while I'm actually giving. That's my mentality. It's okay, I just want to give, so that I can actually receive energy while I'm giving. And that's true. Like, that's true to a certain extent. But it's also like, hey, sometimes actually that's not true, and sometimes I just need to rest and not give to anybody. Like, nobody gets my energy right now. This is for me and for myself. That's my problem. Is like, oh, I just gotta give, and I have these rationalizations in my mind where it's like, yeah, I'm getting energy while giving. It's like, actually, no, sometimes I'm exhausted. Like, I record a lot of videos, I do a lot of work in the world, I have a lot of clients, I work with a lot of people, and what happens is that if I give too much, then I'm not giving anything of value anymore. There's no value, there's no truth to what I'm saying, there's no actual value, because all the energy is just muddy. It's all it's not a pure energy, it's just muddy, and there's all these different frequencies that, like, I don't even want in that moment, yet I'm there because I believe I have to. If you're realizing that it's okay to take time for yourself to avoid situations like that, what's happening is that you're absolutely aligning back with your higher self, and it's a huge sign you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self. Now, the third sign that you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self is number 3. You're actually realizing that emotion is actually how you manifest. When you emotionalize something, when you give something energy, the more pure you are from that space of purity and non-resistance, from that space, what you emotionalize will be a really, like, a part of your experience. It will more powerfully be a part of your experience in a much faster way, especially if you're going through this awakening process, so to speak, where you're really conscious and you're really purifying your energy and you're really like in this space of just pure awareness. Everything you give energy to, you'll see that it actually manifests a lot faster than before, where your energy was all muddied up and all, your energy system was all what's the word I'm looking for? Just mixed with all these frequencies that you don't want. Yes, manifestation's slower in that space because there's no direct flow of energy in that particular direction, and using your capacity to only flow it in that direction, right? Because you have this capacity, right? You have this energy, and sometimes we're split off in all these different directions, and we're giving energy to all these different things. And of course, manifestation is going to be slower when you live life in that way. Of course, things are going to happen in a very slow and very not accelerating, fun process, just like a slow, boring, mundane, heavy process. Of course, it's going to be heavy when you're split off in all these directions. When you learn to harness your life force and give it emotion to only what you actually want to experience, you're going to notice that your manifestations happen a lot faster, a lot more epically, and a lot more accelerated. And what this does is, that's a huge sign. Well, it doesn't do anything, there's a lot I could share, but actually that's a huge sign that you are getting back, you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self, because your higher self doesn't live life in a sloppy way vibrationally. Everything you do is done with pure intention, pure consciousness. When you're aligned with who you are, just pure, like everything you do is just pure intention. Like, there's a reason why you do it. You know why you're doing it. And if you don't know why you're doing it, you take a step back and reevaluate and realign your energy so that you do know why you're doing it, because you don't want to be making any decisions from a space of being swayed by somebody else's opinion that was never even yours to begin with, and it was their emotions that you took on and you actually forgot that you did that. Absolutely, you want to avoid that, making choices from emotions that you took on that you forgot you took on. That's a huge thing you definitely want to avoid, so to speak. So if you're realizing that emotion is manifestation, well, absolutely, what's happening is that actually you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self. Now, the fourth sign that you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self is that you're doing what you actually want. What you actually want, right? This is what I'm saying, is that sometimes we get so swayed by other people's opinions, other people's emotions, we forget like what we actually want, how we want to feel, how we want to participate in our own reality, right? Like sometimes we argue, we get into arguments. What is an argument? Nothing wrong with conflict inherently, nothing wrong with an argument really, but sometimes it's like, do you actually want that? When you're really in the flow of an argument, of course also believing that you're not in your power and that you don't create your reality, if you really understood, like if you really understood the power of your emotion and the power of your energy, you would avoid giving energy to things that you don't care about. You would avoid being angry. Anger and resentment is actually a choice. It's a choice. From a certain level of consciousness, it is a choice. When you're at one level of consciousness, it doesn't seem like a choice. It's like, no, I need to talk about this argument. But the emotion has taken you over. The emotion, then the whole process can be conscious. You can be in an argument consciously and play that game if you want. There's nothing wrong with anything. I'm not here to give you any sort of debate in terms of what's right or what's wrong or how to live your life. All I'm saying is that if you're realizing that you're taking responsibility for doing what you actually want, what you actually want to be doing moment to moment, that's a huge sign you're aligning with your higher self. Because actually, if you were aligned with your higher self, you would never actually settle to do anything but what you actually want to do moment to moment. You wouldn't give energy to any situations that you don't resonate with. You wouldn't give energy to any people that you don't resonate with. You wouldn't give energy to anything that's not feeling in flow and in alignment with what you care about. Any resistance, you would avoid that at all costs, and you would actually make sure to only give energy to what you want. Now, if you're actually starting to awaken to this once again, and you're realizing that doing what you actually want is your top value, like if I'm not doing what I actually want, God, what am I even doing here? If that's your mentality, holy, you're absolutely aligning. I don't know why I said it like that. You're absolutely aligning with your higher self. Absolutely you're aligning with your higher self, because actually when you do what you actually want, what you really care about, that's something that only people do when they are in alignment with who they actually are. When you're in alignment with somebody else's reality, not who you actually are, that's when you do things you don't want to actually do. You think you want to do them. You're not resonating with the actuality of the experience, that you keep doing it again and again and again until eventually you realize that actually I'm thinking that I want this, but I'm in this moment and I don't actually want this. That's a huge sign of spiritual maturity, spiritual growth, and getting back into alignment with who you actually are at the core. Now, the fifth sign that you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self is number 5. The last sign is that you're letting things go that do not serve, that don't actually serve you. See, when you're aligning back with your higher self, you're hyper aware of what's not serving you, what's not helping you, what's not helping you to grow, what's not helping you to become your greatest version, who you actually prefer to be, who you want to be, not who you believe you have to be because of some conditioned belief that somebody outside of you told you. They told you that's who you have to be, but actually realizing that, wait, that's not serving me, and that's not what I'm resonating with. And I can keep going there if I want. I'm playing that game, and no one's going to judge me. Universe is not going to judge you. Universe loves you unconditionally. You want to keep doing things that don't serve you? No one's going to judge you. You're only judging yourself in that process, and you're only hurting yourself. And if you're hurting yourself, of course, you're hurting the other, but that's a whole other conversation. But it's like, if you're letting things go that don't serve, not because you see it as bad, not because you see it as there's anything wrong, not because you see it as like you have to stop. You can keep going. You can keep doing those things that don't serve you. You can keep dishonoring your heart. You can keep emotionalizing and arguing or whatever, or just whatever. There's nothing wrong with arguing or conflict, but again, like sometimes it can happen where we're doing it in a way that's not resonating for us, because sometimes conflict happens and that's life. But sometimes it's just a useless thing that we don't care about. When you actually realize that you don't want to give energy to things that aren't serving anymore, not because you have to stop, but because you want to stop, that's a huge sign that you're stepping back into alignment with your higher self and who you actually are. And with that, I conclude this video. Leave a comment down below if any of these signs resonated for you. Also, once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Also, lastly, leave a like on this video only if you want to, because I do actually believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to actually know that they are divine creators of their reality, and that actually they can manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible, helping themselves and helping others in the process as well. And hitting that like button does help the YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people, and that would be greatly appreciated. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.